My 22-year-old son, Noah, is very entitled. I have been a single parent since Noah was about 2 years old. I have guilty feelings all the time that poor Noah, and he didn't have a dad in his life. And I tried to make up for Noah's dad not being around, so I spoiled him. Mom, I want this toy, and I would buy it for him. And as he got older, it was like the cool sneakers and make sure that he kind of fit in. Noah was diagnosed with ADHD at 11 years old. A psychologist told him that ADHD is like putting all of your thoughts into a blender and turning it on. When he drinks, the chaos kind of slows down in his head. Noah's drinking has increased in the last 6 months drastically. He can drink up to almost a pint of hard alcohol in one sitting. He's smoking weed every single day. Noah can manipulate my feelings. He's been trying to not drink. Last week, he called me up and said, if you don't bring me pot tonight, I am going to get drunk. So I left what I was doing and went to a dispensary and then dropped it off at his house. He will get very angry if I don't give in to his demands. Noah has called me a bitch, a bad mom. Noah doesn't know how to manage his money. In 3 years, Noah has probably made over $150,000 and has not one penny in the bank. Noah has a $1,000 Louis Vuitton wallet, but he doesn't have any money to put in it. Noah wanted me to co-sign for a $80,000 Audi, and I said no. He thinks he should already be rich and famous. He sees like celebrities and, the Kardashians, Justin Bieber. Noah has a big passion for music. He's very talented. He says I spoiled him rotten and I made him this way. My way of loving him was to make sure he had what he wanted.
Well, joining us virtually is Heidi. And Heidi, it's good to talk to you. You feel like you've created a spoiled brat. You said you bought him sneakers, you bought him shirts, you bought him all the things, all of the material signs of being successful.
Yes, I always wanted him to look good and have the brand name shoes and the nice things that other kids had. I felt like his dad wasn't in his life, so I kind of bought him the nice things to just make sure he wasn't left out and kind of, had the things that other kids had.
Okay, so, and I looked at this, what you kind of described. You've graded your own paper in terms of your enabling behavior. You said he had no dad, so you wanted your son to have everything. You gave enough love for two parents. You say you've bought marijuana so he wouldn't drink, but that didn't work because he does drink, right?
Right.
He says he drinks a half a bottle of rum a day. You say that you don't give money, only groceries, that you give in to requests so he doesn't ask your grandparents. You don't want him hitting them up, so you give in to protect him. You say you've paid his car loan and that you feel sorry for him. Yes. Okay, now, does any of that, if he's in the music business and that's what he wants to do, you understand that that is a cutthroat, highly competitive business, and the chance of him making it is less than 1%. So what is it you've done that's prepared him to do what others are not willing to do?
I've tried to get him prepared, and he knows it's a lot of work. I just don't think he's ready for it.
Okay, he knows it, but he's
not
just...
the way he is.
You're saying he doesn't have the work ethic?
No, he does not.
All right, well, Noah says there are very good reasons why he is self-medicating, so let's hear what he has to say.
My mom, in my opinion, spoiled me far too much. My mom wanted to make up for not having my dad in my life, so I think her decision was, okay, I'm gonna give him everything that he wants. I didn't have any chores until I was 13. Then $30 a week, which is pretty good. I think everyone wants to have nice things, so of course I'm attracted to gold, diamonds. I like Lamborghinis. This is the $500 hoodie. Here's the shoe. It's probably $400. I have my Gucci watch sitting here as well, which I bought. This was $1,200 Canadian. So my necklace, I would call it my prized possession, $10,500 Canadian. The three big problems in my life right now are ADHD, low self-esteem, and I think a combination of those two have led me to become a bit of an alcoholic. My drink of choice is a dark spiced rum. I will drink a half bottle and go to sleep. I'll wake up at 4 p.m. and I will finish the other half. I have the tendency to be pretty manipulative. A good example is I can say, hey mom, I'm feeling like drinking right now and I know that you want to help me not drink. So like, hey, do you mind like coming here and helping me out? 20 minutes later, my mom did end up bringing me weed. I'm smoking weed every day. I choose which strain I'm going to smoke based on how I feel. It's a day that I'm going to the studio, I'll smoke a sativa strain versus an indica strain or a in the couch strain. My ultimate goal in life really is to be in the entertainment industry. When I walk on stage as Kilo the Architect, I'm tapping into a different version of myself. I have seen myself as somebody that must be successful. As a kid, I was definitely spoiled, and I find I'm lazy, and I'm like, I'd like to be a harder worker, and I think that boils down to how I was raised.
Okay, well, joining us virtually is Noah, and you're 22, so you're grown at this point.
Yes.
And here's my question: why do you want to be successful in the music business?
Well, personally for me, it just stems from my love for music. It's something I genuinely enjoy. I've always said that if I could make minimum wage and, be in the music industry, whether I'm the sound guy or the lighting technician, I would be happy. That's, the career field I'd like to be in. That being said, it does take a lot of hard work to get there because it's so, everyone wants to do that, of course.
Noah is a reckless spender. It has to be super fancy, expensive, or it's nothing. He has a $700 hoodie. He has a $1,500 Gucci watch. About 18 months ago, Noah purchased a $5,000 gold chain. And then at one of his performances, he ended up drinking too much and got into a brawl in the parking lot, and his chain got ripped off and stolen.
Well, Heidi wrote to me saying she is at her wit's end with a 22-year-old son, Noah, who, despite earning a wage and living in his own apartment, has lost sight of his potential as a rapper due to a haze of drugs and alcohol. Now, Heidi's brother John says he's done all he can to help his nephew, including loaning him $10,000 and even trying to get him a job at his financial firm. But he said Noah just really messed up those opportunities.
My nephew is more entitled than just about anybody I've ever seen in my life. Noah has had it in his head. There's other children that are born into rich families and they're given Lamborghinis and he feels he's entitled to receive all these riches. Heidi, because she wanted nothing but wonderful things, she taught him that it had to be Nike shoes. It had to be the name brand clothing. That was taught to Noah. When Noah became of age to start thinking about driving, he had convinced himself that he was going to be driving a Lamborghini. He broke down crying because he could not understand why he wasn't rich and capable of being way up there on that pedestal. When he wants money, now he has a complete freak out and gets mad and starts yelling and kicking and screaming. Then unfortunately, his mom will go and rescue him. There's been occasions where I've made efforts to teach Noah how the real world works. One time, Noah earned an opportunity to have a loan of some money to buy himself a half-decent car. Unfortunately, after I lent him that money, he lost his job and he could no longer pay the loan to me. One day I looked at my bank account and she transferred the money into my account. So mom came in and saved the day. There was another time that I tried to help Noah by putting him in touch with a company. The condition of working was that he had to pass a drug and alcohol test. And of course, he failed the test. I think Noah manipulates people. He's sworn at my sister. He's absolutely told her to F off, all because he doesn't get his own way. Heidi needs to stop enabling Noah. He needs to hit rock bottom, and she needs to stand back and let him hit it.
Well, joining us virtually is John. John, according to you, you say that Noah is a compulsive liar, can't be trusted, He only cares about himself, that he's conniving and manipulative. He guilt trips his mother into buying his dope and his booze, that you break down age 18 because he wasn't rich and famous, and he failed his drug test at a job you set up for him that would have been a good opportunity at the financial institution, and the 10 grand you paid him, he never paid back. So he's just not been accountable.
Yeah, exactly. As part of the interview that he, went through, and actually I was told he did very well. It wasn't like I got him the job. He sold himself during the interview, did an excellent job. The feedback was extremely positive. And then, at the end of that interview, they, let him know that he would have to pass. The next step was that he would have to pass a drug and alcohol test, upon acceptance of the role. So instead of, looking at his life and figuring out what he needed to do to, get over that next step. And it was pushed out far enough that he had more than enough opportunity to, clear the path for success. And unfortunately, he spent the next, 4 to 6 weeks continuing to smoke pot and drink, trying to figure out how he was going to beat the test.
Is that true? You had weeks and you still failed?
So I will cut in there. I will say that was a job that, of course, was a great opportunity and something that I did want to do. And I did have, as soon as I got that phone call that day saying, hey, we'd like to, arrange an interview, I had stopped my marijuana intake that day. And I believe I had about a month time in between that day that I had stopped and the day of the test. And at that point, after a month, I still was like 3 times over the limit. And that was just because I realized and learned after the fact that marijuana actually stays in your system longer than even hard drugs like meth and crack and things like that.
No. The half-life on marijuana, did you take blood or urine test?
It was a urine test.
Oh, come on. You didn't stay a month off of smoking weed and not pass a urine test. This is science. It's just absolutely not true.
Noah's grandmother absolutely enables Noah. Grandma, again, wants her grandson, loves him to death, wants to take care of him. $20 here, $20 there. At one point, got in a great big fight with Heidi. He had broken some things in the house. Noah ends up going to my parents' house. And they're older people. They don't need the stresses in their life.
Well, I'm talking today with Heidi, a mother who says she doesn't know how to motivate her grown son, Noah. He's 22. Heidi's brother, John, says she has been way too soft on Noah and he needs to grow up. Joining the conversation now is Noah's grandmother, Sharon, who says while she doesn't condone Noah's drug use, it's the lesser of 2 evils compared to his drinking.
Noah's behavior is nerve-wracking on his mother. Heidi did a good job at raising him. She's been a single parent the whole time. I think because he didn't have a father, she wanted him to feel comfortable with himself. She wanted him to have the best shoes, the best clothes. My son John and I have a difference of opinion about whether Heidi spoiled Noah. John thinks that she spoiled him, and I don't think that if he was spoiled, it wasn't something that she intentionally thought she was doing. I fear that if Noah doesn't get help, he's going to get a lot worse, and it could end his life.
Well, joining us virtually is Sharon. Sharon, you say you don't think Heidi has enabled Noah?
Yeah, I'm sure I have too. We've all enabled him at some point. But at this age now, I think he should be mature enough to see what's going on and not put us in the middle.
Look, here's the deal. Noah, now come on, let's just be honest, because I care about your life, okay? I know a lot about the music business, as a matter of fact. It doesn't matter what kind of shoes you're wearing. It doesn't matter what your mama bought you. It doesn't matter what they did or didn't do with you as a kid. That was then, this is now. They're in the record company and the world's gonna sign you smoking dope and drinking a half a bottle of booze a day because they see where you're headed and they will not even go down that road.
Yeah. It's no longer cool. It's just gotten to a point that it's like, okay, now I'm not doing it to be cool anymore. I'm just doing it to do it because it's a problem. And yeah, that's definitely not good.
Well, you say you're wearing a $10,000 diamond encrusted necklace and you owe your uncle $10,000. John, you got to really be interested in hearing that.
Yeah, see, that's another example of where without getting into super detail, but that's where Heidi came in and didn't want to see him have to be accountable for his irresponsibility at the time, and we fought. Heidi and I had a fight that I think lasted in excess of a year at that point, because she wanted to come in and bail him out, and I wanted to be the bad guy. Not that I want to be, but I wanted to take the stress off of her to be the bad guy, to make sure that he understood accountability and responsibility at the time.
I smoke too much, I drink too much, I feel like I'm gonna die. I'm anxious, bruh, it's way too much, I think I lost my mind. Once again, I'm on the edge and I just keep on looking down. If I jumped and hit rock bottom, would it even make a sound? I smoke too much, I drink too much, I feel like I'm gonna die. I'm anxious, bruh, it's way too much, I think I lost my mind. Once again, I'm on the edge and I just keep on looking down. If I jumped and hit rock bottom, would it even make a sound?
Well, he has become one of rap's most prolific artists, with his music videos collecting 500 million, with a B, 500 million YouTube views. His songs have been streamed more than 100 million times, and his last 5 albums have all gone #1 on the iTunes hip-hop charts. He's also headlined sold-out tours across the U.S. Please welcome Canadian Music Award-nominated rapper and songwriter Mercules. Mercules, how are you, man?
I'm great, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's a blessing to be here.
You were bullied and teased because you were different at the time, so you know what it feels like to be marginalized, and you found that identity and found a way to express yourself. And there's just absolutely no substitute for hard work and just rolling your sleeves up and just staying after it. And you've proven that by your career so far. What do you say to Noah about that?
I think that I always live by the term that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I think that it's important for somebody like Noah to realize that in the industry like this, you have to have both, man. Just rolling up your sleeves and expecting it all to come to you is never going to work. It's never going to be something that just doesn't happen like that. At the end of the day, man, you got to work hard. And I think that I understand being hungry. I understand really wanting to get out there and get all the success. But I promise you, man, this is not an easy game. And like Dr. Phil was saying, the likeliness of somebody blowing up and getting to where the space that you want to be isn't as easy as you may think it is, man. And if I can offer you any advice, like, you just have to look yourself in the mirror, think about your goals, say your goals out loud, manifest everything that you want, but you can't just manifest it and not put in the hard work behind it, man. And I think that I've listened to your music now, being on the show and seeing what you have to offer, and I do think you're talented, man. But at the end of the day, you can't just be talented. It's 2020, man. You can't just be talented and expect it all to come for you. So I think that if you set your mind to it, you can get to where you need to be, man. You just got to be smart about it. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Huge fan for a long time. We come from a pretty similar place here. I believe you're from Surrey. I'm from Victoria, so right across the pond.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, that, I think that's a good way to put it. 2020, labels or even if you're not looking for a label, it's, people are looking for people who have already put the work in, have that following, and that's something that I've not done. And I guess, I'm trying to ride the wave of believing that maybe, it'll just come on a silver platter one day because I'm talented, but of course that's not going to happen. So,
of course,
and it's about learning how to put that work in.
There's nothing worse than wasted talent either. I would hate to see you have all this talent that you could be using in a positive light and then not applying it properly and then not getting to where you want to be because you weren't willing to put the work in. So the work is everything, man. Trust me.
Mercules said he would collaborate with Noah if he's willing to get clean and he gets sober for like 4 weeks. Mercules, you've said that you would actually do something with Noah. Tell him what you have in mind.
Well, as we were saying earlier, as he said earlier, we're only across the pond from each other. He's actually like 3 hours away from me. So what my proposition to him would be is if he can stay sober for 4 weeks, a month, essentially, and provide proof of of being sober, I'd be willing to go out of my way to use my platform that I've built from the ground up to not only do a song with him, but I'd also be willing to shoot the video, and I'd be willing to promote it on my platform. I'm willing to do all these things free of charge. All I need you to do is provide us proof that you actually want this, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many nice sneakers you have in your closet. At the end of the day, you have to show us that you actually want to work for it, and this is something that you really want. And I'm not trying to reward bad behavior by doing this. I'm trying to reward good behavior by you showing us the good behavior that needs to happen for us to be able to move forward. So let's do it.
Wow. That would be an absolutely incredible opportunity, and you will have my word that that is something that I will, from this moment forward, that's in effect. And yeah, whatever we have to do to have you check in on that.
Well, I'll tell you what we have to do. We're going to start drug testing you for alcohol and drugs. It's not going to be you can do this up until the moment and then try and get clean. It's going to be on a random basis across a month, because what he's saying to you is a huge, huge hand up. Not a hand out, but a hand up if you're willing to put in the work. And he said he will actually let you be his opening act at a show, in addition to what he's done here, if you are willing to do what he is asking of you. So, Noah, it's time to find out whether you're a poser or a player. And this is your chance, my friend. And it is truly a gift. We'll see whether you do it or you blow it. So what do you say, buddy?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you took the words from my mouth. I'm speechless, honestly. That is, I think, the biggest opportunity I've ever had in my life, next to this right here. So altogether, I couldn't have asked for any more than that. And you have my word.
It's all about you. You're the only one that can make this happen now.
Well,
yeah, no, I will be, precision sight focused down on
And just
on my
remember,
goal.
man, just remember that this can't just be a bunch of words and just saying the right thing for the sake of saying the right thing at the time. I want to do this. I want to be able to help you. I believe in you. I believe in your talent. You're not far from me. I will contact you after this, and we will keep in touch. And you can talk to me just throughout it if you're struggling to stay clean. And I'll be there for you in that sense, too. But it's just time to knuckle up and actually show how much you want it. You know what I mean?
For sure. Absolutely.
all right, fair enough. All right, Mercules, thank you so much for caring and paying this forward. Mercules' new album, Apply Pressure, is out. You can order it now.
Can this wannabe rapper clean up his act?
There isn't a record company in the world's going to sign you smoking dope and drinking a half a bottle of booze a day.
Or will he continue to play dirty?
Look, here's the deal. It's time to find out whether you're a poser or a player.
Next, Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.